They'll never let this be monetised. G'day. I'm going to try and keep this video brief. Famous last words. I'm not going to go over a lot of detail that I've already mentioned in other videos and has been said other places as well. But I've been putting off doing quite a few videos because I wasn't sure how they'd mesh together. And suddenly it's dawned on me. Now, most of you would know or have heard of Alex Jones from the InfoWars channel. It's not a channel I ever watched a lot, and quite frankly, sometimes I thought it was just bullshit. But anyway, nevertheless, it is what it is, and there was a huge following of the channel. Whether you agree with what he said or not is kind of beside this point. Now, I'll get straight to the point. As you may have heard, last week he was banned totally from all social media platforms. Deplatformed is the term that's going around. Now, by that I mean not only his YouTube channel was taken down, so was the Facebook, Spotify, Apple, the whole lot. His whole catalogue of everything gone. Now, it seems to be that it was agreed behind the scenes with these private companies, and remember they are private companies, to get rid of him because I guess he did say contentious things and he was well known for that. The only reason I discovered this actually was the other day when, because I browse a lot of different topics, it actually came into my mind, almost psychically maybe. I haven't seen any of his videos pop up in the list. So I actually searched for Alex Jones, and then I found out he'd been deplatformed, explaining why I wasn't finding him. He has since reappeared on a different channel, or channels. If you're interested, I'm sure you'll find that if you enter Alex Jones. But the point being made is not what his content was. I, as I say, disagreed with some of it I agreed with. He did expose a lot of things in the past, some of which was denied for many years. He did sneak a camera into Bohemian Grove, which most of you might have heard of now. Anyway, search for it if you want.
The CEOs and presidents, vice presidents of the big four networks all attend year after year, and you have former presidents, you have current presidents, you have British royalty that go there. Helmut Schmidt, the previous German chancellor, wrote a book, Men in Power is a Political Retrospective, and in the book he said, look, the Trilateral Commission goes there, the Bilderberg Group goes there, the leaders of the world go there for 15 days, and a lot of decisions get made there, and he admitted that they are establishing a private corporate world government, and that one of the most important secret meeting houses is the Bohemian Grove, and a lot of the major magnates in corporations and media, but also government, come there.
Basically, it was, and it is still ongoing, a yearly event that they had in California for all the presidents, heads of state, and other very important people in Congress, etc., of all walks of life. Those that chose to go, of course. And anyway, the point is it was denied for many years. I'm not going to go into detail. I'm sure there'll be something still left on the internet. But the point is, he exposed that, and even, I think it was President Bush Jr., he denied it until Alex Jones made it public. And then he had no recourse but to admit it. But of course he put a spin on it, saying it was basically a boys' club, or whatever he said.
The Bohemian Club, as you say, the Bohemian Club, that's where all those rich Republicans go up and stand naked against redwood trees, right? I've never been to the Bohemian Club, but you ought to go. It'd be good for you. Get some fresh air.
And he has made other comments too about various things. Some are well proven, others, of course, will disagree with what he said. It's not really the point here. What the point is, is that obviously the big mainstream media companies, CNN, all of those, saw him as a threat because he actually was more popular than them. So basically they decided to get rid of him, or attempt to. Now where this ties in what I was going to say, and creators would know this I'm sure, when you're putting keywords or tags as they're called now into your videos to help search engines, as everyone does, I use something called TubeBuddy, which I've used for years. It is free, and I'll say something about that at the end of the video, but it's very handy basically. Just recently, because I go back and look at old videos, not so much look at them, but I optimize keywords and things like that, I use TubeBuddy to help me there. Lately it's come up with various keywords and even words in the descriptions of my videos that this may cause demonetization. But where I was going to make a video, and I didn't have enough material to really justify it, was some of the keywords are stupid until you start correlating what's happened recently. It would pick up words like, maybe I shouldn't say them because I'm sure speech recognition is very, very good, even on YouTube. So I'll just pop up a few here. There were things like, in the airshow video I made recently, I mean, that was just describing the type of aircraft that were there. So they've come up as a flag. Some of the space videos I've done, not that I've made that many, there were keywords originally suggested, ironically, by TubeBuddy, and they've come up flagged. And I'll say one word here, like black hole. I mean, that's weird. Anyway, so you get the picture. What it basically boils down to is freedom of speech. Now, I'm a firm believer, even if I totally disagree with what's being said, other than flat earth, even if I totally disagree with what's being said, I will fight to the end your right to say it. And that's what's at stake here. I mean, Alex Jones had a massive following, and surprisingly, the latest today is he's now got such a huge following, it's not funny, since the banning. So that's a positive, definitely a positive. People don't want their speech repressed, and neither should they. And I'll tie in briefly, very briefly, to what happened with YouTube at the end of or the beginning of this year. And I was actually, as far as I can tell, or could tell at the time, the first person to make a video about it because I happened to be home at the time. Got the email and made a video straight about it. Well, hot off the press today, I've just got an email from YouTube. And they've really blown it this time as far as I'm concerned. What they've basically said is that no more monetization for small channels. And that is because of someone I'm sure you've all heard of called Logan Paul, who, as you'll know, was making one of his stupid videos. I think he's a real dumbass myself. But the point is, he made a video, found a body in this forest in Japan, and etc. I'm sure you'll know the story. Supposedly because of that, YouTube took a hard line and demonetized all of us. Now, as I've mentioned, personally I was making maybe $20 a month, and that's only in recent times, but that's after 12 years of YouTubing as well. So that was taken away. YouTube, in brief, set up a new guideline where you had to have 4,000 hours of watch time and a minimum of 1,000 subscribers. Now, I surpassed that some months back, and in fact was notified that yes, you're now being reviewed and we should have an answer by the end of June, I think it was. So myself and the other 99% of YouTubers all thought, good, we're going to get our monetization back. Finally, it looks like my monetization is coming back. The end of June came and went. And in the meantime, I've of course accrued even more watch hours. Nothing fantastic like any big YouTuber. But the point is, they well and truly have surpassed their requirements. And the latest is that there's a bit of a hold-up, and some of us, and that's most of us, are being held back for a further review. And the point is, they say you'll get an email in approximately a month. You know what? I don't think it's ever going to happen. And you know why? It's because the smaller YouTubers like us, if we do make contentious or controversial videos, there's enough of us out there that people can still get the info that we're putting out. Whether it's right or wrong is not the point. I hope you understand that. And by the way, this is the first video I've actually had the microphone in shot. Being, I guess, a filmmaker of 32 years since I started in the film industry, it's a cardinal sin to have a mic in shot. But it seems to be what everyone's doing about this topic, so what the hell? Put out my Sennheiser. So I don't think they're going to remonetize anyone. And there's no further mechanism of reminding them, hey, you said you were going to remonetize subject to a further review. I don't think it's going to happen. As I have said before, it's not about the money, it's about the principle that I'm still, and many others are still, a YouTube partner, and have been for many years. It still makes me wonder, like I loved YouTube, I still love YouTube, but it's definitely become so political now, the whole system. It's automated. I was cyber-stalked over Christmas time for some time. Of course, I made a video about that. I removed it from YouTube because it does name names and details, but of course I still have a copy. But just prior to that, as some of you would be aware, I took my phone camera and took a quick 30-second video of a storm cloud coming. The storm's looking pretty real to me, and that was against their rules, apparently, because I had my very first ever, in 12 years, notification that this breaches their guidelines. So I'm still wondering, and I'll go and re-look at this, was there a keyword I said when I just shot that video? I don't know, something flagged it, or someone. I doubt anyone's going to flag that. It was nothing special at all. It was a spur-of-the-moment thing. Meantime, Logan Paul was back online making money for YouTube. It's about the mainstream media, and I've made videos about this before. I'm not going to complicate things by putting too many links. I'll put some links in the end. It's about mainstream media having the final say and not being contested. And that is your freedom of speech being repressed. Anyway, that's all I was going to say. I'm not going to harp on about things. I hope this turns out brief when I edit it. And the thing I was going to say too about TubeBuddy, it's brilliant. If you're a creator, use it by all means. It's free. I don't know how come it's still free. And I have to say, I have to go against the mainstream here. I'm currently trialling the paid version. I can't see any difference. I think it has the ability to change things on bulk, but it's not a lot of things that you could change on bulk anyway. In the old days when I started out of interest, YouTube itself had their own suggestions of keywords, as they were called then. And they were pretty good. But anyway, they went, and luckily TubeBuddy came along because it does make life a bit easier. But basically what TubeBuddy more or less does is just take the information that's available in the back end of your YouTube anyway, in the Creator Studio, and compile it. So anyway, thought I'd add that. If you know me, you know I'll always tell you straight how things are. Okay, thanks for joining me. I hope it's made a little bit of sense, and no matter what, always remember that freedom of speech is your right. Okay, thanks for joining me. See ya.
All the time in the darkness across the small lake, The men in black were doing something behind the dark curtains hanging from the redwood trees. These people are deadly serious, those taking part in the ceremony.
Well, we're going to confront George Bush on Bohemian Grove. George Bush Jr., they've been announcing on CNN, MSNBC on television last night and today. For the first time in history, they're admitting it, why the vice presidential decision was made at Bohemian Grove. George Bush Sr., the former president, and Golden Powell and others. So now they're just throwing it in everybody's face. We've broken the story over a week ago. July 15th, we were in Northern California. They're trying to ignore it. George Bush is down here at the governor's mansion across the street from the Capitol, about to announce Dick Cheney as his vice presidential running mate. We're going to go blow the party for him and get the information out to people. We're not going to stop. We're getting in their face.
A lot of the major magnates in corporations and media, but also government, come there